Hey, I must be on TV now. How about that? Erica, Margaret, Elijah, and James. Thank you for a great job. We're tracking along here in week 6. I wanted to go over with you real quick the legal brief. I want to make sure that everybody's on the same sheet of music and so forth. What is the legal brief? What's the purpose of it in this class? Well, when you're dealing with terrorism and stuff, there may become a time where the things that you do are borderline violation of somebody's civil rights, or you might be breaking the law. And if people above you, to include the legal people, are not aware of what you're doing, you are held responsible for it. So you might be saving the United States from a terrorist attack. However, the things that you are doing, if it backfires or becomes under question, you could be thrown in jail for violating the law, and the very law that you have sworn to protect and defend. And so I kind of look at this legal brief as the get out of jail free card, if you will. And what I mean by that is you are going to cover all of the things that are gray area, in which leadership, your agency leadership, and the legal folks need to be aware of, because you're not going to do anything until you have the approval of your leadership or the people above you, and the people above you is not going to give you the green light, the go ahead to conduct these operations unless the legal folks look at it. So what this week represents is you're putting together all of those quasi things that infringe a person's civil rights or infringe upon the law. You're going to highlight those in a legal brief, and then it's going to the legal eagles to review. And those things that are, the legal eagles, they will weigh both the law, and they will evaluate the law, and okay, what's to be gained by it. So if the risk of being sued is not as great as the lives in which we are going to protect, they will allow it. So that's the importance of the legal brief. And so how does that affect you? Well, once they review it, they send it up to your leadership for approval, and they approve it. You have a signed document saying that they approve all of these things. And should any of these things backfire, you're basically relieved of the responsibility of them, because your legal folks and your leadership has already authorized it. So that's your get out of jail free card. That way you're not held liable for it. Those things that you're doing that are quasi illegal or violate a person's civil rights have been brought forward, and that's why it's always important to bring everything forward in the legal brief, to point it out, so that way you are protected and your team is protected. If you just, like on TV, take things upon yourself to go do, and things go awry, your agency leadership can't stand behind you. You're going to go down the river without the paddle. You are the one that's going to be held personally liable for violating a scumbag's civil rights or breaking the law. And trust me, when they go to court, defense attorneys are going to highlight how you broke the law, you disregarded my client's civil rights, and so on and so forth. But if your leadership's already aware of it, and you have the documentation showing where your leadership knew about it and authorized it, and the legal eagles have already reviewed it and authorized it, you're good as gold. So they can accuse you of doing whatever, but you are not personally liable for anything that happens after that. So anyway, I just wanted to point that out, why the purpose of the legal brief is important. It's probably the most important aspect of this whole course. Even though, it's not as glamorous as doing a stakeout or doing surveillance. surveillance and stakeout is the same thing, or doing reconnaissance, which there was some confusion on that. I'm going to create another video, the difference between surveillance and reconnaissance, so that way it explains it a little bit better. But for now, I just want you to understand the legal brief. All right, I'm going to cut this short. Thank you for all you're doing. You're doing a great job, and keep up the good work. You guys, all four of you are super people. I hope to see you in other classes.